Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another stale movie review. Today, I'm going to be talking about Final Girl, which I totally intended to review much longer ago, and I never got around to it. And I was trying to decide on a stale movie review movie to watch, and that one came up on Netflix, and I was like, yeah, I never actually watched that movie. I think I watched The Final Girls instead when I intended to watch Final Girl. I think that's what happened. If I can find that review, I'll put that up there. Right, so Final Girl is directed by Tyler Shields, and it's about a girl, Veronica, played by Abigail Breslin, who is trained by this kind of mysterious man, William, played by Wes Bentley. Love Wes Bentley. She's trained to be a weapon, and she takes on a group of sadistic teens who like to hunt and kill women for sport. It's very atmospheric. I really kind of loved the feeling of the movie. It's definitely very dark, lots of low-key lighting, lots of shadows, and it's very like it's almost like otherworldly. Like it just feels like you're in like some like film noir or something like that. You're not like in the real world, and it's not trying to be like in the real world. It's just this very dark universe where this sort of thing happens. I ended up really liking that about the movie. It worked really well, I think, and the shots and like the framing was so very well done. There's some of those really nice like symmetrically framed shots, which I really love. I think it's just because it's pleasing to me aesthetically. But yeah, like I said, very atmospheric. A lot of this movie, like the last 50% of the movie takes place in the woods, and I don't know what you would call this, if this is like, if this thing has a name, but you know the thing like where somebody's in the woods and like the whole time there's just this like, there's super bright lights coming from behind the trees like at all times to give the scene lighting, but obviously you know that's not what it would look like in real life. It'd be completely dark. That's what's going on in this movie, and I feel like I shouldn't have liked that about the movie because it was super unrealistic, but I think it worked really well. It made everything look, like I said, just kind of like really atmospheric, kind of unnatural looking, but it worked somehow. And the premise is quite good. I'll kind of get into the little problem I have with that in a second, but it is a really good premise, and the ending is satisfying to an extent. Again, we're about to get into that, so we'll just get into what I didn't like about the movie. I think the biggest flaw in this movie is the lack of character development. You spend a lot of time getting to know Veronica and like her relationship with William and how he's training her to be a weapon to fight somebody because his wife was killed or something. And it's even unclear, I don't know, maybe if I just missed it in the movie, I don't think the boys killed his wife. He never says, so I'm not really sure if this is like what he's been training her for, or if this is just supposed to be like a warm-up or something. I don't really know. Obviously the boys deserved it for what they were doing, but I don't know if that was the point, like they killed his wife or something in the past, and that's why I don't know. So for all that build up to Veronica going in, like pretending to be a victim and killing these boys, for all that buildup, you learn like almost nothing. I think they just left too much in the dark. Like you don't understand how Veronica got to be in that program, you know, where she was being trained to be a weapon. What William's part in this is he like, does he own the program? Is he just somebody who works there? What's going on? And I think the biggest failure of this movie is you have no motive for these boys. You know, like jack shit about these boys. They each get kind of a little introduction, but it really doesn't tell you anything about why they are the way they are. I guess you kind of just have to suspend your disbelief and believe that these 4 teenage boys just like, they're all like sociopathic and all happen to live in the same town, and they befriended each other to kill girls in the woods. I don't know, like I think the movie really just would have benefited from a little bit of backstory or some sort of motivation for the boys, or at least the main, like the ringleader of these boys, Jameson, who's played by Alexander Ludwig. If they had at least given him motivation or something, because he's kind of like the big villain, being the ringleader, I think that just would have put that movie up there for me as like a really good film. The dislikes make it hard for me to recommend that you watch this movie. I think, you know, at the end you're gonna be satisfied that, I don't think it's really spoiling anything, that the boys get their comeuppance, obviously. That part's satisfying, but it would have been way more satisfying if you had some motivation or you knew something about these boys. I just think, like I said, I think that would have elevated it. So I can't really recommend that you watch it because I think ultimately it's unsatisfying as a whole. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this 2 Wes Bentleys out of 5. On IMDb right now it has a 4.7 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes is pretty even. It's got a 27% critic score and 24% audience score. So I think everyone kind of came to a consensus on this movie. I didn't have a chance to skim through the ratings like I do, or the reviews like I do, but I imagine it'll probably say something along the lines of what I said. Hopefully, unless I'm just completely off base here. I don't know. So if you've seen Final Girl, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. If you enjoyed the video, which I hope you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe and become a creepy peep today. I am 1 subscriber away from 500 people. Come on, somebody out there is not subscribed. Do it, you know you want to. Well, as of right now, I'm 1 away from 500. I could have hit it right now and just not known about it. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye.